Super Smash Bros. Melee came out in Europe like 22 years ago, a bit more than that already. In NA it came out in November 2001, in Europe it came out a bit later, like half a year or so. And the biggest Melee tournament that Germany ever had happened in 2015. It was this event, Helix, or as Germans would call it, Helix. Took place in 2015, so at the peak of the documentary era of Melee, where the documentary came out, EVO 2013 and the following EVOs happened, a lot of people joined the game, and then in 2015 Germany had its biggest event ever to this date. You see right here, it's got 212 attendees. This is 9 years ago now, so almost a decade ago was when this took place. And of course, it's hard to have your biggest event of all time in a country every year, and Germany just hasn't had any events as big as this one. But now, that will change soon. So SUP is happening this weekend actually, so keep your eyes open for that. It's gonna be a great event. It is Juice themed. There is a great history when it comes to the origin of the name for this tournament that we might get into a bit later. But yeah, this event is taking place this weekend, and let's first look at Helix and who played in that tournament. Helix overall had 208 players participating in Melee singles. You see right here, or let's just go through some of the top placers of this tournament and look at where they are now. So Armada won, big surprise, Armada won a big European tournament. Who would have thought? He did win, he won very convincingly. The fight was more about second place between Westballs and Ice. I don't think these the wins and losses here are correct. I'm just gonna open up the bracket because the bracket will be will make a lot more sense, because it says right here that all of these people have 0 losses, and I don't think all these people have 0 losses, because if they had the 0 losses, they wouldn't have gotten any placing below first. So let's look at this instead. So Armada first, Westballs and Ice duke it out for second place, which was a very hype rivalry at the time. I was a huge Ice fan, and he managed to win in winners semis. And then he lost the run back in losers finals 3-2. Very, very close sets between these two players consistently, which was really cool to see. Let me just move this over a bit so you can see the bracket a bit better. Yeah, that should be fine. Cool. But yeah, Armada won over Westballs. He'll drop the game to this Sheik player who we won't name. He dropped the game to Ice, but that's about it, because it's Armada. Triff was also at this event. Triff was back then, yeah, he was already very good, but he really made another jump, or lots of very small, very slow leaps throughout the next decade, so that, whereas now Triff is just the best player in Europe. Of course, you know, Leffen's inactive, Armada's no longer here, but Triff has proven again and again that he's just one of the best in the world. But yeah, let's once again go through this list here and just look at where these people are. Armada, love him, playing Mario 64. Good on him, hope he's having the greatest time, and he's also playing Rivals 2 now, so maybe, you know, we'll see him win Genesis, but just not Melee this time, Rivals 2 instead. Westballs in second place. Westballs still plays a bit, I think, just isn't that active anymore. Ice only plays doubles, hasn't been seen at a singles tournament for almost 3 years now. I recently stumbled upon his LinkedIn profile, so he's doing well for himself. Over Triforce, don't have to talk about that guy. He won't be at any tournaments. Triff, best player, will not be at ZUP, unfortunately. I think he might be going to Let's Make Moves Miami, which is the NA tournament that they scheduled on the same weekend as the biggest European tournament of the year. Our tournament had been announced for more than, or almost half a year at that point. And then Luminosity was like, guys, you know what? You know, there's a few NA players signed up for this European tournament. Let's just schedule an East Coast major on the same weekend to make sure none of them show up. And they accomplished that. Of course, I am salty about it, but I also get it. They wanted to host an event. That was the only weekend they could find, they could make work. It's just unfortunate that Europe suffers from it a little bit in terms of NA attendance. But from talking to the TOs and just getting the general vibes of the community, I don't think anyone really feels the need to have top NA players at these events. Usually European tournaments are more about the playing experience, that's why we tend to have way more setups compared to how many players are at the tournament. You know, during top 8 at NA events, most, like a lot of the time the setups will already be taken down and everyone will just be in the crowd watching. But at European tournaments, usually like a lot of people will watch, but a bunch of people will also just keep playing because there are so many setups, and usually the setups stick around until the very end of the actual tournament, so you can just keep on playing. So European tournaments usually have a nicer experience for the attendees, especially because there's stuff like amateur brackets, round robin pools that are all best of 5. So yeah, anyways, Reaper was the second best German player for a long time. I think he got into trouble with like the tax authorities in Germany because he wasn't declaring his Smash income correctly or something like that. That's just the rumors I've heard. I think he still plays a bit of Ultimate, but not like super competitively. But he was really cool to watch. He was one of my favorite players to watch, which is weird because I loved watching pretty much all the German top players. Just like Däumling, who's right below Reaper right here. Just how it usually was on the German power rankings. Reaper second, Däumling third. Däumling best ICs in Germany for the longest time, then just kind of left the scene when it was kind of like the double punch of the European Melee community, especially the German one, switching to NTSC Melee and no longer playing PAL. He was a big proponent of us, like he wanted us to continue playing PAL. You know, the version of the game where Sheik and Fox are a bit worse. And then also Wobbling got banned, and I think, you know, those are like two pretty rough punches to take in a short period as an Ice Climbers player. Especially because when you're an ICs player, especially as a wobbling ICs, people generally discredit your skill quite hard just because you wobble. So yeah, I appreciated him a lot. He still like sends me congratulation messages sometimes when I do well with ICs, which is super cute. Like that's so nice. But yeah, there's Zola right here. Honestly, I've got no idea what Zola's been up to. I don't know. I would have to check like his StartGG page. He might have entered like Valhalla this year. He might have also not entered anything for 5 years. I am not a Melee stats kind of guy. I am in the Discord, but that's about it. Ja Raiden right here. Is also now attending the newest, biggest German tournament of all time. It's actually the first person out of these top placing players who will also be at ZUF, which is great because it shows that while we have people leave the scene, there's also lots of new people come in who are now able to win events like this. And Ja Raiden is definitely one of the favorites to win ZUF. I wouldn't say necessarily the favorite if I were to have to put betting odds on all the top seeds, but Ja Raiden could definitely win it. Quick was very good at Melee, like getting 9th at this huge event is amazing with Samus. Quick is now also one of the best Ultimate players in Europe. Not sure how active he's been recently. I know that like 2 years ago he was still pretty active and playing a lot in Ultimate. Yeah, there's also T, who was Samus from Austria. I don't think I've seen T around much either recently. Yeah, and then we go down the list. There's Adam from the Netherlands, there's Fauster, the commentary, the person known for his amazing live commentary of crazy combos. There's Mr. Love, aka Young Ulrich, who is also going to be at ZUP, probably doing commentary, I would suppose. Strawhead Dehin, one of the best Spanish players at the time. There's Avalancer, aka Nevi. So lots of people who like definitely made their name known in the community, either during this time period of it, so 2015, or in the 5 to 10 years after. There's also Squiltendorf right here, who was already a hidden boss back then, who's still a huge hidden boss now, who will also be at ZUF. So let's actually look at ZUF. So what's going on here? We said Helix had its 208 attendance, ZUF has 240 for Melee. So that's a lot. Of course, you know, it's not as much as like Genesis with its like 5,000 people across all events, but for a European Melee tournament, this is the biggest of the year. And for a German tournament, like I've been saying a million times, it's the biggest we've ever had, which is great. So now I just want to go through the pools really quickly, just so that we can have a look at like what's going on with all of these, and where I'm expecting any upsets and what I think about the seeding in general. Actually, let us begin with that, shall we? Let's just start by looking at the seeding of the tournament, how it's projected to play out, and what I think about that. So, this is the seeding for top 64, I think. It should be top 64. And I want to go through some of the matchups here and what I think might happen in bracket. So this is all assuming that the pools play out as they're seeded, which might happen, but usually you have a couple of upsets and, you know, maybe some people won't make it to the tournament on short notice and then the brackets change anyways. Let's look at the winners of round 2 matches, right? Or actually, let's go from right to left. Let's start at the end and then go back to the beginning. So our projected winner semi-sets are Nikki, so myself versus Ja Raiden, and then solo battle versus Frenzy. Me versus Ja Raiden is a matchup that's happened. I think it happened 2 or 3 times last year. We haven't played yet this year, but that's gonna be really fun. Ja Raiden beat Moth at Festa twice, so Ja Raiden definitely knows the matchup, and it's a really fun and especially funny matchup to play. And yeah, I excel at the funny matchups because even when I lose, at least it looks funny. So I either win or it's funny. So I don't really have anything to lose. The other side would be Solo Battle Frenzy. I would say that Solo Battle is the favorite here, but I don't know. I've got no idea if these two have played recently. Solo Battle usually farms the European Falcos really damn hard, so I would assume that Solo isn't feeling too afraid of Frenzy. But if Frenzy knows that this matchup is about to happen and he prepares for it, he's the kind of guy who can just, you know, get a solid 3-1 win that no one, or that I wouldn't have a bet on. So I definitely am not counting any player out on either side. So winners finals could be any of these 4 players against each other, or it could even be some of the people before that, because so I'm playing against Irfan. Irfan also beat Moth this year, so Irfan also knows the ICS matchup really well. We also find each other on unranked quite a bit, so I'm looking forward to playing him again. Ja Raiden, Kinzo, these two usually have great sets. I think Ja Raiden came out on top this year more often than not, but again, like, I don't have the head-to-heads here, so this could definitely go either way. I'd say slight favorite Ja Raiden. Tino Solo Battle, I'd say Solo Battle is the heavy favorite. And then Jade Frenzy, honestly, that could go either way. That I think that could be the closest set out of all of the ones here. I think Ja Raiden Kinzo is gonna be really close, and Jade Frenzy is gonna be really close. So I can definitely see the upset potential there. The round before, because, you know, we're now just going back, I'm projected to play either Squiltendorf or Mo. Squiltendorf, extremely good Fox, who pretty much beats up everyone in Germany except for Kinzo and myself. Even against Kinzo, he goes really close. Mo, Donkey Kong, Funny Monkey. So if I'm playing against the Funny Monkey, that'll be hilarious. I'll just have a bracket of DK, Falco, and then Luigi. Like, doesn't get any funnier than that. I'd appreciate that. We've got Irfan versus I4. That's also gonna be very interesting. These two did play at the second gallery, right? Second gallery. And I think I4 won. While that's loading, my internet sucks. The reason I'm making this video is because I wanted to play and prepare for the tournament, but my internet's being shitty, so I'm just recording something and hoping that the internet works out. Yeah, so this tournament, I4 won, amazing, love her, biggest fan of her ever in the world. She did beat Irfan somewhere, I think. Yeah, right here, down here. I knew it, my brain's doing all the work. Yeah, so she got that win. Let's see if she can do it again. Ja Raiden Skullbro, also really funny matchup. We've got so many good and especially funny matchups here. Ja Raiden is the favorite for sure. They did play this year, I think, and Ja won. Kinzo Astar, they also played the second gallery, and Astar won that set. Where was it? Was it here? Was it later? Probably was in top 8 somewhere. Yeah, it was in top 8, exactly. So that's gonna be really fun. So there's upside potential here as well. Stein, Tino, that's gonna be pretty big. I think Tino probably has this, but Stein is like a wild card. He plays very just wild melee. Just goes for really hard reads that just take your stock instantly. Here we've got Kinzo Astar, what I said. So that's gonna be great. Lunary versus Solo Battle. I think Lunary could do it, but I think Solo is just a bit too solid. Riggs Jade, that could... Maybe Jade doesn't even make it to Frenzy, but with how Riggs looked against I4, getting 6-0'd in Grands at the second gallery, either it might be just a style difference where Rix might do really well against a slower Sheik like Yade and not as well against a faster one like i4. Not saying Yade is like slow or has bad tech skill, but he plays a bit more calm, and i4 is a bit more like action heavy. And then Steph Money Frenzy. And Frenzy actually has to play Fuzziness the round before, so it's like old school #1 UK versus the modern day #1 UK. So many fun matchups here. I could just keep going forever. But let's just really quickly look at the pools and see what we've got there. So the first pool is these people. Let me move this over to the side a bit and make it a bit bigger so you can see it next to my stupid big face. Cool. Yeah, so it's Frenzy, Kiwi, first 2 seeds, and then we've got Beld, aka Belfarmy Mart, Midjeet, Rafa. This is a pretty good pool. I keep running into Rafa on unranked. They play Marth on a keyboard apparently. Wondering if they're gonna have like a USB plugin or if they have like a GameCube controller cable for the keyboard. And I honestly don't even know what the controller rules are for this tournament, but I'm sure that Rafa will know what's going on. But maybe they don't actually play on the keyboard. Maybe that's just like their sponsor. The sponsor is called like Keyboard Esports. I'm gonna find out. It's gonna be great. I think this pool will likely go according to seeding. I think the most interesting matches are between the 3rd, 4th, and 5th seed, because I could see Midji getting 3rd in this pool, but I only have limited information on these players, so yeah, not sure. But I think Frenzy's gonna have a pretty, not an easy time, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna get 1st, and I'm pretty sure that Kiwi's gonna get 2nd. Cool. This is the second pool. We've got Solo Battle, Jigglypuff from Finland, then we've got Stormrad, who's a German Samus player, and then we've got Free Palestine. Oh, that's Slim Shady, who's now not, it's not Free Palestine, the player from NA, it's just Slim Shady rocking the tag and respected. Yeah, I think this pool will likely also go to seed, but I could definitely see Slim Shady getting 2nd in this pool, but I think Solo Battle's gonna have a really relaxed and chill time in this pool. Again, unfortunately for a lot of the lower seeds, I haven't played against these players enough, or I haven't seen them play each other enough to be able to like make any specific predictions on how these sets will go. But luckily, everyone who's in a pool, even if you get dead last, you will make it into one of the amateur brackets. There's gonna be a gold, silver, and bronze brackets, with gold bracket being, people who get, I think, top 2 or top 3 in their pool making it out, probably top 2. But yeah, that's gonna be great. Cool. So our next pool is A3. Of course, in the lower down the list we go, the closer the matches between seed 1 and seed 2 in the pools will be. For this pool, we've got Kinzo as the first seed and then Nixtred as the second seed. I think, again, here Kinzo should have the first seed pretty solidly, but the battle between Nixtred and Casper V will be really interesting. Berlin has one pretty good Marth with buff target, and then also my Marth enters the Berlin local sometimes. But I think, yeah, Nixtred's probably not going to be able to punch up hard enough or far enough to make it hard for Kinzo, especially since all the pools matches are best of 5. So it's pretty easy for the higher seed to, even if they drop a game, it's not the worst thing in the world, because they could just drop another one and still be fine. But Casper V is a really good Dutch Marth player, and Nixtred, like I said, originally from Italy, lives in Berlin now, plays Falco, like we can see in the profile picture. That'll be really fun. Cool. Next up, we've got these 3 pools. This one has Yada and Destiny. I think, Flinka Bear is, I think that's an Austrian player. I do know that I run into this person on Unranked a lot, and that always makes me respect someone, because it means that they're on the grind. But yeah, I think Yada has this pool pretty easily. And Destiny, I think I ran into them a bit. I know that they do get melee coaching, or at least used to, because I saw them be a student of Rix's, I think, during the Cones Academy days. So hopefully the Rix knowledge will have stuck with them and help them keep their second seed in this pool. So that's gonna be great. Now we've got Irfan and Gappy. Gappy is Italian player, right? And I think they play Marth? Yeah. Gapi, Melee, Marth. Cool, I'm so good at this. And then third seed is EUO, who plays Peach from the UK. EUO plays a very chaotic style, I would say. One of those styles where you get hit by one stupid down smash, you're like, alright, you know, that was just luck. And then you get hit by the same down smash 5 more times, and then you throw your controller. Might just be me, but, you know, that's the kind of style that I'm thinking of. Again, I think Irfan has first place pretty much locked in this pool. And I also think that Gapi will probably be able to keep second seed for this. But EUO can definitely give both players, Irfan and Gapi, a good run for their money. Now we've got this pool with Astar, Noxa, and Spino as the first 3 seeds, and then Gorf, who's a great German Falco, who is very famous for, I think, winning the most recent German Melee Arcadian. And so the crowd loves Gorf, but I think Gorf could potentially contest third place in this pool. But it's gonna be mostly about, can Astar just play solid enough to not have to worry about losing to Noxa's Ice Climbers? That could happen, right? If they're playing at 10 AM, because this is wave A, and Noxa warms up properly and Astar shows up to the venue after being at karaoke for too long on Friday evening, Noxa could take it. Again, I think the best of 5 helps Astar here, but it also gives the Ice Climbers, it gives Noxa the FD counter pick. So yeah, I don't know, I think this set could be like could end up being a pretty sweaty set for Astar that he definitely has to warm up and prepare for. So it's like, I think this is the first pool that we've looked at where I think the first hit actually has to worry like a decent bit about their opponent. And then Spino could randomly beat Noxa by just doing Captain Falcon things, but I don't think that's likely. Cool, this is this pool, we had that already. Let's keep looking at the next ones, because there's a lot of pools here for us to look at. This pool, we've got Skullbro and Smush Marth. Smush Marth, if you'd had to guess, you would guess it's a Marth who plays Smash Ultimate, but it's actually a Captain Falcon who plays Melee, of course. And they won I think they won the Stockholm Weekly literally today, right? Let me pull that up on the side. So I thought they were good, but it seems like they're good. Yeah, it's this right here. Yesterday's super spooky Stockholm Weekly. It's Smush Marth winning over people like Sharp, Ika, Mr. Bobo Get Nobody, even Nero. That's a really big win. So yeah, now I have got no idea what to expect from them and what to think. They could beat Skullbro. It's, however, gonna be a matchup that Skullbro probably has played quite a bit. There's like, the Netherlands don't have like amazing Falcon players. They do have a few, but they don't have like a top Falcon player. So Skullbro probably isn't the most experienced at the matchup either, if I had to randomly guess. But Smush Marth seems to be good enough to contest with like people who are, or to contest people who are top 20 in Europe now. You know, maybe not the top 10 quite yet, but definitely from like the 10 to 30 range, which Skullbro's in. So that's gonna be really fun. I hope I get to watch that set. Yeah, Rory X, also really good, but I think just has a pretty bad matchup into the top 2. Like, Rory X plays Marth. Marth against Doc, if the Doc's better than you, is really tough, and against a Falcon who seems to be really good, it's also pretty tough. Stamo can maybe do something. Stamo's a German Fox, who can maybe do something against the Rory X. But I think the top 2 is just gonna be Skullbro, Smush Marth, duking it out. Cool, that tag might be pronounced differently, but what do I know? Alright, next pool, we've got Lunary, Super Smash Flash 2, aka It's Okay If I Lose, with Young Ulrich, aka Mr. Love, as the second seed. And then I've got no idea who Melusi is. I'm just gonna be real, I've never heard that name before. Am I just out of touch? Seems to be he, she, both are okay. Cool, thank you for telling me. Seems like they've gone to, or he has gone to French tournaments, which is great. Love French Melee, but I cannot say anything about this player. I just know that this pool, I think Lunary will win the pool. Young Ulrich will have to prove himself against the French invasion of this person with a very cute profile picture whom I've never heard of before. Yeah, I don't know, I'll go to the venue early to find out who that is and play this person so that I've got an idea of who that is, because they seem to be good enough to be seeded highly. Alright, next up, PogChamp. We've got our guy. we've got Squiltendorf. I keep talking about Squiltendorf, but he really is just that good. We recently had a very stacked weekly in Berlin, where we had Snap, who was also at the ATOC Invitational, show up, and Squiltendorf managed to beat Snap twice, I think 3-2 and then 3-0 in the run back. And Squiltendorf just keeps beating German players who are like ranked top 20 in Europe. However, Flippy-O plays Pikachu and is also really good, and Squiltendorf, if you give him like a bunch of foxes, he's never gonna lose. But if you give him like the best Danish Pikachu player, that's a very different beast. I think with preparation, and I'll probably go up to him and try to warm him up for his pool just because I want to see him do well, because he's from my region. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully I don't mess with his head too much. But this is going to be a really fun set. I hope I get to watch this one too. Yeah, Brockman is a good, originally from NA, I think, lives in Germany now. Like, they could do something. If they're good against Pikachu, there is a chance. But I think this pool will likely play out as seeded. Potentially just, with Squiltendorf versus Flippy-O. I think that could just be a triple 3-stock in either direction, and we're gonna have to see which way it goes. Alright, next up we've got a pool with Der Fasan as a first seed. We can see now that the first and second seed matchups are becoming closer and closer. Der Fasan is, I think, the second highest ranked Falco in Germany on the most recent power ranking, being barely above Irfan, but below Kinzo, of course, and Nobody's a really good Swedish Fox player. And Zorniborn is also a good Falco from Austria. So I think Zorniborn could be annoying for Nobody. I played Zorniborn with my Marathon Unranked recently, and I was having a much harder time than I expected, especially compared to the other Falcos I was playing on Unranked that day. So I think he's got potential to get an upset win here. So I think the top three, they could, like, I think this is the first pool where I say that the third seed actually has a chance to even get first in the pool. It's not likely at all, but there is a chance with like weird round robin pool shenanigans happening where everyone has one loss and then, game counts matter. Yeah, so that's gonna be great. So this pool has, we have got our first of the French sisters. We've got Fek as the first seed. French player plays Peach, and then Restless Whale, Dutch Falco, amazing commentator as well. And we've got Kebab Man 13, which is a great tag that I've read a lot, but I had no idea they were actually good at the game, which they must be if they're the third seed in this pool, so that's interesting to know. And we've got Big Yellow, the greatest YouTuber in the planet. So that pool is going to be great. I think Fek probably has this, but again, this is gonna be a really tight one, because Restless Whale is, I don't know, that might just be my experience, like watching him play and playing him myself, but sometimes he just feels unbeatable for like 2 or 3 stocks straight. So if he can just play like that the entire set, then he will just be unbeatable and get first in this pool. Again, because the bracket is so stacked, I think the round robin pools do matter quite a bit. You can always say that, oh yeah, even if you get second, you still make it out. And maybe even if you get third, I'm not sure about if top 3 advance or only top 2. But yeah, just getting the best seed out of your pool makes a big difference here. Great, so we're almost at the halfway point, so let's speed up a little bit. Let me just give you my unfiltered, super quick thoughts on some of these pools. Which matchups I think will be funny, which ones will be close. Faradid versus Madness. I think I favor Madness in this one. Diamond has a pretty tough pool, but I think Diamond being a Swiss Ice Climbers player, Madness, French Luigi, Faradid is a fox from Belgium, I think. So this makes sense. I would have expected Madness to be seeded higher here, but this is probably just, one of the, it's a very close seeding wise, and I think Faradid really has to worry about both Madness and Diamond in this pool. And then even 17 is a strong player, but I think, Faradid will have that set quite solidly, but Madness and Diamond will be scary for him. This pool we've got Risk, Dutch Donkey Kong, and we've got Aolong, German Sheik. DK Sheik always scary for DK, but also very scary for Sheik, especially if you don't have DK experience, which I would bet money on that Aolong doesn't have, because Germany doesn't really have a DK, and the one that we do have is more from northern Germany, whereas Aolong lives in the south. So yeah, I don't know if Aolong can practice the chain grab for 20 minutes beforehand and figure out a way or two to edgeguard, he's got a shot. This pool we've got Blaze and Jhabs. Jhabs is also, I think, originally from NA and has been living in Germany, I think either in or around Cologne for a while now. I think Blaze definitely has to warm up well for this set. Jhabs is really good Falco. Blaze, best German Peach now, I would say. Yeah, hopefully not forgetting anyone. So that'll be fun. But I think beyond that, I think the top two are probably set in this pool. Cool. Oh, this is gonna be great. We've got Jim Morrison, the person who's responsible or the namesake of this tournament, versus Chaos 6, a French Captain Falcon, if I'm not incorrect. That's gonna be really close. I think these are two players that I would say are just like on the same level, like as players straight up. So that could go either way. And then we've got Granny, and like, what? I'm wishing you the best, Granny. I know I haven't called in a while. If you're mad at me saying that you're not going to get first in this pool, then I get it. But that's what I'm going to say because I've got no idea who you are. Oh, this is going to be so sick. We've got Fuzziness and Noon as the top two seeds. So Noon is a very good player from the Netherlands, and Noon just plays the Plumbers. Noon plays Dr. Mario, Mario, and Luigi, all at a very high level. And Fuzziness is, you know, legend of the game. He's probably gonna play either Fox or Falcon. I know Fuzziness, when I found him on Unranked recently, he was playing Fox, even against my Marth and in doubles, which is I think what he mostly plays. He also plays Fox. So I would expect Fuzziness to either go Fox here, or maybe Falcon, or maybe Puff, who knows, because I know that Fuzziness used to play Puff in doubles like 10 years ago. But yeah, this is gonna be really hype, so this is another really close, really fun set. That's my pool. I've got Leander second, whom I know because I run into them on Unranked a lot. So that's how I know that they're a good player. And then I've got Metarix as my third seed, which is a name I have read and heard a lot before. And I think I also run into them on Unranked quite a bit, but Europe has there's a certain level of Marth where they're really good enough that you they make you think. That you're like, oh, this player is good, who are they? But they're not so good that they're super scary to play against. It's just like, oh, this is a good player, they might be really good very soon. And I think Metarix could be one of those, but I could also just be wrong. Don't they play Fox? Yeah, I just shouldn't have said anything. Leander definitely plays Fox, maybe, I think. I'm gonna prepare very hard for this pool and sit down and do my best and then pick Luigi and do the bing bing wahoo, and yeah, I think I will win my pool, hopefully. And this is the Ja Raiden pool. Ja Raiden versus Deacon Blues. Deacon Blues is a pretty good Sheik from Germany, and then Creighton is a good Fox. I think again here the question is about who gets second in this pool. Ja Raiden has first place locked here, and I think Vintrox could also punch up a little bit, just because I know them pretty well. Vintrox could make a push for fourth or maybe even third in the pool, but I think Creighton versus Deacon Blues is the set to watch for here. Okay, this pool, Fatino, UK Falco, best Falco in the UK after Frenzy, and then we've got Snoke, who plays Marth and is from France, I think. And then we've got Tooth, who plays Samus on Rectangle, who is a software engineer who loves coffee and dogs and cats and penguins and art and music at Ace Attorney, and who looks really cute in this pinned tweet. So yeah, I think Tino's got this one, and then I think Tooth could just beat Snook because Samus Marth, if you're not experienced in it, is pretty tough. Great, so we're more than halfway done now, gamers. Let's keep going and let's make it till the end of this before I have to take a bathroom break. So this pool, first seed I4, French Sheik player, recently won the second gallery and an amazing tournament victory. Then we've got Baron Brody, a third seed is Marls Barkley, who plays Ice Climbers. So I4 is definitely going to be most worried about her third seed, which is Marley, who is also the coolest human being in the world and just has the most swag out of everyone at this tournament. So yeah, I think I4 has this pool pretty much on lock, but really has to be wary of the Marley Ice Climbers, because I think this is one of the best draws Marley could have gotten in terms of like best player he could beat. That's definitely, you know, for any good ICs, that's always going to be the best cheek at the tournament, and Marley's got that pool. And Marley could also be annoying for Baron Brody, who's a Austrian Falco player who's also been around for a very long time. So that's going to be extremely fun. This pool is Rix is getting the DK challenge. And then the 4th seed is Pew Pew Pew, who is one of the first people I ever talked to at a Melee tournament, because they were always at my local when I started playing. So they've been playing the game for at least, I think, around 15 years now, maybe a little bit less, maybe a bit more. Wishing them all the best, looking forward to seeing them. And then I'm looking forward to seeing if Rix can just do his DK homework, and because Rix is definitely like the favorite player in this matchup. But yeah, if you're shaky against DK and if you go in with fear, the DK players can actually smell your fear, you know, just like how dogs can, you know, just smell the fear or smell danger. DK players will smell if a Spacey is afraid of them, and then they will go crazy on you. And then Big M could also just beat IOD King. IOD King is the DK here, is a DK player from Spain. I know it's not pronounced IOD King, it's not like the birth control thing or the contraception thing, but how can you blame me, honestly? Right, this pool we've got Stein versus Shima. That'll be fun. Shima is a really good Fox and Marth player. Was a Marth main for a while, then switched to just playing Fox for a while, and I think is back to Marth now. Stein plays with Knuckles all the time, at least they play doubles together. And usually when you're playing doubles together a lot, you sometimes warm each other up for singles. So he's probably experienced against Marth, but Knuckles plays pretty unique Marth, so maybe Shima can make this happen. Like, I could definitely see Shima winning this. It would be a pretty big upset, but it's not impossible. This pool, Steph Money, and then we've got third, who's a really good Puff from Berlin, who just randomly beats extremely good players sometimes. Steph Money should have this, like, I give him like a 95% chance to win the set. But third, like I said, just has these kind of games where he hits like 5 rests, and you just don't even know what's happening to you. So that could go either way, and then Setrox, I wouldn't say that Setrox is likely to be third, it could happen, but I think this pool is likely to play out as seeded. Maybe Danubi could beat Xiao Xia. Cool. We've got Mo versus Mr. Rit, which is one of the French sisters. She's got a great set against Ginger from Genesis that's on YouTube, so you should type in Mr. Rit versus Ginger, where I think she 3-stocks him game 1. Loses the set, but that game 1 was amazing to watch. This is a pretty bad matchup for her, like against the best DK in Europe, and you're a Marth player who probably doesn't have much experience in the matchup. That's gonna be pretty tough. Magic is trying to beat her for sure, but again, I think this pool will play out as seeded, and I think Magic will probably have to look downwards and just make sure he's not getting upset by anyone else. Magic is originally from Italy, lives in Berlin now, and plays Fox and Falco. Then we've got Flippy, who's my homie. So we've had this pool already, and now we've got Foutenel, first seed, Dutch Peach, and then Rysum, who is a German Fox player, one of the many that we have. And then there's Nuclear Lunch, which is a tag I've never heard before. Looking forward to meeting them. I think Rysum could win this match. He's a bit under the radar because he hasn't been to many big tournaments, not even in Germany. So yeah, I think he could win this set. I'd say it's like a 75% chance Foutenel just wins solidly, but there is a 25% chance that I would give to Rysum to win this. And this pool has Happy Meals as the first seed and then Yogurt as the second seed. Happy Meals, very good Fox player from the Netherlands. Yogurt, Marth from Austria. I think Yogurt might have been messing with other characters at some point the past 2 years, but I think is playing Marth again now. Happy Meals should have this one pretty solidly because the Netherlands does have good Marths that Happy Meals most likely has played against quite a bit, like Renzo or Knuckles. And Double H, another name that I've never heard before. So cool, it's gonna be great. Lots of good players whom I've never heard of before that I can get to know. This pool is gonna be really interesting. Saf Blundern has one of my favorite combo videos of European Melee players recently. He's from Sweden, plays Luigi. and Keza is a German Sheik player who also has a bit of a Fox for some rare matchups, Puff and Ices mostly. How much that comes out depends a bit on how the Fox has been doing recently, but he's mostly Sheik. That's gonna be really, really fun and interesting, because Keza, historically, ever since I started playing, Keza has been vocal about his dislike for floaty mid-tiers, how he likes to call them. And if Luigi isn't that, then I don't know who is. Could argue that Luigi is a bit too good to be considered a mid-tier, but I think he definitely falls under that definition when Keza is saying those words. It's gonna be great. Then Circuit is really good. I wonder why Circuit is seated below Spleen. They must be like very close third and fourth seeds. So this is a pretty stacked pool. Like, this is one of the closest ones, I think, where the top 4 can all be competitive with each other. But I think Keza versus Saflana will be really fun, and then Spleen must surely be good. So yeah, this is maybe like the toughest pool overall when we look at the top 4 seeds. Just in terms of how close everyone is to each other, not necessarily on how hard the pool is. This pool has Raptori, who's a Finnish Fox player, really good. I think just the number 2 in Finland after solo battle. And then the second seed is Geldman, who's a German Falco from Berlin, who really doesn't travel much outside of Berlin. When he does, he's been doing really well against the German top 10, and I think he got ranked in the top 10 in Germany on the recent PR, or at least very close to it. So that's gonna be fun. I don't think Schwanzus can do much to contest these two, but these two against each other, that'll be a really fun set where either player could win. This pool has Wolf and Smarted. Wolf is, yeah, I run into Wolf on Unranked a lot, which is why I know who they are. They play Falco, they're from France, they're really good. And then Smarted was, yeah, for a while, the best ICs in Europe after the likes of Däumling had stopped playing, and Smarted was like the last bastion of ICs. Smarted from Italy plays Ice Climbers. This is gonna be a fun set. I would honestly say that Smarted could be favored here. I think Smarted is seated lower just because he hasn't been able to attend much. You know, Italy is it's decently far away from where most of the tournaments are in Europe, like the Netherlands and some parts of Germany and the UK especially. So it's great that Smarted gets to travel. Again, I think the third seed will not have many chances of like beating the top 2 here, but I think the set between first and second seed will be extremely interesting. This pool has I Like Turtles and Parsecco, another extremely close matchup here. I Like Turtles is from France and plays Marth, and Parsecco is from Germany, plays Fox. Another player who's like definitely top 15, close to top 10 in Germany. German power ranking is like my Ice Climbers and then like 16 Spaceys in the top 10. I don't know how that works, but that's just how it is. And Parsecco has historically been pretty good against Marth. I think he beat Black Haze at a PR relevant tournament last year. And Black Haze was probably, or at least was ranked pretty highly on the European ranking. So Parsecco has wins over Marths, who are ranked higher in Europe than I Like Turtles is at the moment. So yeah, I would honestly say that I probably favor Parsecco in this pool, just matchup wise. And I would give him like an above 50% chance of winning this set, but he could also just get owned completely because it's Fox against Marth and you never know. We did talk about this pool already, so yeah, I think we didn't talk about this one yet. This one is the pool that has Pi as the first seed, who is a very good Fox player from the UK, and then Maxono, who is a Marth from Germany, who's like in the lower end of our top 20 PR. I think Pi has this, but Maxono sometimes he feels like the worst player ever when you're playing against him, and you're like, this is easy, you just destroy him the first stock, and then you just lose your next 3 stocks without being able to do anything. It's very strange. Like, I've never experienced that before, where I play against someone, it's like, oh yeah, this is so easy, and then you look away for half a second, and then you've already almost lost the game and not been able to get a hit. But I think Pi is a bit too good to let that happen. But again, who knows? It's Fox Marth, like... They're wave B, okay, so if they were wave A, I would give Maxono like a 5 to 10% higher chance of winning, just because of the 10 AM advantage for the non-spacies. But yeah, this pool is probably going to play out the way I expect, and it's going to be about Maxono versus Dr. J, and I do not know who Dr. J is. It's not Dr. K, I know who Dr. K is, but Dr. J is probably just like the little brother of Dr. K. So maybe they can use some psychological tricks to make Maxono play worse. Great, so those are the pools. We could also be crazy and look at the silver and bronze brackets and who's seeded to win those, but it's already tough enough to predict who's going to be the first and second seeds out of each pool, and then also predicting who's going to be the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth seed. That'll be really hard. Actually, let's look at the gold bracket and actually try to figure out if top 2 or top 3 make it up, because I think that is pretty interesting to know and important to know. Cool. All right. Yeah. Again, this tournament has lots of players that haven't been super active or haven't been seen at too many tournaments. Like seeing Fuzziness at this event is great. Timmy, aka Athos, is also going to be there. He's going to be playing doubles with me. That's great. We've got lots of people like coming back or coming out again who haven't been around for a decently long time, which is always great. We get to see Mo again. We don't get to see Mo that much in Europe. We get to see lots of German hidden bosses show up. It's amazing. We've got some of the best players from each country. There are not many people missing. Of course, there's like, the inactive players are always great to have, but they're inactive. Like, that's what inactive players do. They don't attend tournaments. So yeah, we shouldn't expect like Armada to randomly show up and enter this. But yeah, cool. It looks like, from what it looks like right here, using my no internet knowledge and skills. All right, so top 3 make it out of pools. That makes the fight for third place in each pool even more important and even bigger. Because if you can make this bracket, that's a very big deal. I think everyone who makes it into this bracket as a second or third seed, usually, some second seeds are shooting for first in their pool, but then there's going to be a lot of third, fourth, and fifth seeds who are all just trying to get third in their pool. So if they can do that, that's great. And I think those sets will be the really hype ones. And then the top seeds will have their close matches, later on in bracket here. Cool, yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know who you want to win this tournament. Let me know who you think will perform above expectations. Again, there's so many cool matchups here that we could talk about, like Kaiser versus Noon. We've got Mo versus Third, which will be really fun to watch. We've got Risk Madness, DK Luigi. But again, this is already getting into... Yeah, just getting this far into bracket, having everything go as seeded, isn't super likely. Maybe a good player loses, maybe we just have all the top 5 seeds like on this side of the bracket and we all just duke it out before winners quarters. Not likely, but anything could happen. My bold prediction for this tournament is... I don't know. I think I4 could make a run. If she gets first in her pool, she will be seeded to play me, which is a bit unfortunate. Just because it's Sheik Ices, which is tough. She could definitely beat me, but it's like for sure like the hardest matchup for her. She definitely just wants to avoid solo battle and myself. But I think everyone else she could beat. But does she get to play against the likes of Frenzy and Tino, or Jariden or Kinzo again? Kinzo beat her pretty hard at second gallery, but she could definitely win a run back. So yeah, who knows what's gonna happen. All of these matches could be switched around, and I'm just gonna go to this event and I'll just play my matches as quickly and as soon as I can, and then just walk around and watch and take it all in and be part of so many hype sets and deciding matches where someone will either make bracket or not. It'll be so cool. Cool, yeah, make sure you watch. It'll be streamed. I don't even know what channel it'll be on, but just follow me on Twitter at upgamer_Nikki. Or just, follow German Melee, which is also on Twitter, and then you'll know. I'll also make a community post on YouTube if you're watching this on there, which gives you the links to the tournament stream when it happens. Yeah, this was a bit of a rambly video, but I just wanted to get an overview for myself over what the pools are like, what the bracket is like, and give some shout outs to the people here that I do know. And maybe, someone is just way underseeded and they're the 5th seed in their pool, I don't know their name, and they end up getting second and make a run. Everything's possible. Cool. Like I said, let me know what sets you're most excited to see, and I will hopefully see you all in Twitch chat on the weekend.